pisser. I'm sure you've seen this a number of times. Old cancer rot behind the wheel well here. And it goes all the way around. Now, buddy gave me an idea. Because you see it doesn't go clear down, it's just to the edge right there. And right there where the water would have lied behind this fender flare. And of course, cab corners are ate out. I mean, really rotten. All down in here is really rotten. And the rockers are completely gone. Now, we've got the extra added bonus that this guy went out and spent $1,500 on some wide tires and huge wheels that wouldn't fit under this truck without putting a body lift on it and or a suspension lift. Does he do a body lift and suspension lift? No. Genius cuts the fender well. See, from here down. Same thing in the front. From here down. Even the little air deflector. Same thing on this other side. Didn't even cut it the same. But from here down. And he pretty much just hacked that all to pieces. But what I figured I'd do is just put the fender back together as good as I could or something like that, and put the fender flares back on it to kind of help hide that all a little bit, because this isn't going to be like a show truck or nothing. And this one, unfortunately, is pretty much eaten all the way down through both front and back, right to that point right there. Looks like it kind of stops from there down. There may be a little bit, but it's not as noticeable. And of course you got the little spots right here where it's rusted. But the idea that I got from my friend, because I was asking about the metal and forming it up to match the wheel well. This is the bent up wrecked fender off of my son's truck. Now, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive, that this arch for the front wheel is a little bit different than the one for the back. I don't know that for a fact, so I'm actually going to measure it out. But what he was saying is basically just cut this metal loose and use that metal to rebuild everything. Just wondering if you thought it'd be a good idea as bunged up as this thing is. That's good metal and there's no rust on it, but it's only good to that first bend right there, and then it's pretty well screwed because all that's just crumpled down there where the silver starts. There is no straightening it. And to beat it all, it's got that inner lining on it, which you could probably just air hammer that loose the whole way around and separate the two. But it was a thought. I figured I'd run it by you to see what you thought. Still need the fender, the outer fender for this one, and the door and the rim, which that rim ought not to be too hard to find. The grill stuff, like I said, if worse comes to worse, I'll just take it off of that one and put it on here for him. The hood is okay except for this little dent right here, which can be straightened through that little hole. I just haven't done anything with it yet. It won't be completely straight, but I can get it at least pushed out and maybe run something over it to get it filled. This one, this is my baby. And unfortunately, just sitting here, it had a little pinhole right there when I moved out here 10 years ago now, and over the years it's developed into that. This truck hasn't really seen any snow or ice or anything like that, So that has to be just water rot, not from it getting stuck in the mud, although I have had it in water clear up to this sill on this side and flowing clear up to here on the driver's side. I was an idiot, drove through it, but I made it. It's been a nice little truck. I've given it total hell and it's taken it. So the last 10 years I've taken it easy on it and just left it rest, during which time all this happened. I've got a picture I'll insert right here. All this is still shiny and waxed up and polished. Shiny polished hood. Look, first thing to go was the clear coat, and then the rest of it just pretty well blew off. Just sitting here. Partly because I didn't have it covered. This was just a little spot. Of course, this is just surface rust. I've already sanded it off once, but I was stupid, didn't know what I was doing, didn't know to use metal etching primer. I just basically sanded it down, threw navel jelly on it, left it sit long enough to finish, washed it off, dried it, let it sit, and then threw the primer to it. And it was primer sealer, so I thought I was doing the right thing. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And now you see how bad it is the whole way across. And it pretty much needs painted the whole way around now because, again, sitting here, it's just, the paint's just dulling and falling off of it. Even right here, and it had perfect paint all down through here. The only thing that was wrong with this side is one little divot right there where I punched it. My girlfriend at the time, the one that helped me buy this truck, shut my hand in the door, and rather than smack her, I smacked my truck. Left me a little knuckle ding right there. The only reason I haven't really pushed to get this thing repainted is because of those decals right there. I can find everything else to put this truck back the way it is except those decals. And it should be simple. Just a standard red. It's a different color red than the truck, but it's just a standard red. And this is just a standard silver with 4 lines through it. Probably about 2-inch lettering. And it's all italics. Not real bad, just might have to talk to old Mr. Bill about that one. This one, I can find all over the place. And I don't care if you see the tag number, that doesn't go back to anything that's legit now anyway. But even my back bumper, if you'll see right there, back bumper's all blown off. I never used that bumper. There's never been anything hooked to it. The guy that had the truck before me used the receiver hitch, and the only thing he ever pulled with it was a small John boat. It was an old man that had it. That's who put the first 90,000 miles on it. And I ran it the rest of the way up to 269,000. And they were not at all easy miles. I rode this truck hard and put her away wet several times. Now here's the odd thing. You look right there, there's not a thing in the world wrong with that cab corner. I've never seen one cab corner be fine and the other one be screwed up. That just boggles my head. Figure if one goes, the other one should go. But you can look, it's perfectly solid, no bubbles. There's a little dent there that I got stupid and I don't know how I did, but probably raising hell in the truck, buckled it just right and slammed the bed against the cab. It's kind of what it looks like. That's the only thing I can figure. But I've taken this truck out in the field out back here and just gave her all kinds of hell. But it's got all new bearings, all new calipers. Does need new upper and lower ball joints on both sides. Transmission is fine. It's It's had the fluid changed every 14,000 miles. The oil's been changed every 3,500 miles with Mobil 1 only since I've had it. That's all this truck's known. You can see though, dash isn't cracked. Needs a good cleaning, but it ain't cracked anywhere. I forgot I put this on here. That needs to be on everybody's pickup truck. Everybody's. I don't know how many times I've gotten myself into trouble just helping people move. So if you ever get a pickup truck, either find you one or make you one. Hell, I'd like to take and get that blown up and just put it all across the back window. Because I don't know how many times I've had people ask me, oh, can you come help me move this weekend? But yeah, you can see it's got all the factory original stuff in it. Nothing's faded, it's just dirty. But I tried to sell it a number of times and my wife wouldn't let me. And I asked her why. She said because that was the first time she remembered seeing me come sliding in the parking lot sideways in that thing. Slid right up to the front door of her hotel room to meet her the first time. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. The only other project that I have that I haven't finished up with is this one right here. Now I've got most of what I need to finish it up now. I've just got to, I think I'm going to have to rerun the fuel lines on it. I think I've got them misrouted on there. But if I can rerun the fuel lines, hook up the transmission lines, hook up the spark plug wires, fill the thing up with fluid, it should be ready to start and go. And somebody's been sitting on her hood and I'm going to crack some skulls. That dent was not there. Somebody tried to rectify the problem too. But yeah, hers is all tinted up and everything too. But it's ready to go. Just got to button up them last few things and it should be rolling. But we haven't gotten it registered yet because I haven't gotten it running to get it down there and get it emissions tested. So what I'm going to do, since this one's closer to being done than anything, and us never knowing when we're going to need a backup vehicle, I'm probably going to get out here this weekend and try and get this thing buttoned up. My daughter's not going to like us using it for a backup vehicle, but she don't have a license and no hope of getting insurance, so, and she's not driving it out of the yard without insurance on it. Until she gets some insurance on it, it's not moving. Now, this one is a little bit different stretch, different situation. This actually my dad bought for $2,500. And Mom told him no after he bought it. So it's stayed out here. It's registered in my name. Those are my tags in the windshield. But this dent needs to be worked out, which if you're careful you can still get it to come out without having to just totally redo the whole fender, because that's not real bad. There is a little bit of a crease right here. I mean, it hasn't got to be perfect, it's a work truck. 1975 Custom Deluxe 30. Got a little spot right there that was caved in really bad, and I've managed to walk it out that far. Now it's got a little rot right here and it's through, but that's just a little thin spot of metal. I can probably put pretty much anything in there and build that back up. try my hand at doing the body work. But as you'll see, it's hydraulic brakes, 350 4-bolt main, which was standard for this truck. No special toys, no air conditioner. You got a blower motor that comes on as soon as you turn the truck on because somebody's got it straight wired. Got to get that fixed up. Like I said, it's hydraulic clutch, hydraulic brakes, hydraulic bed dump, and other than the few little spots of rust and that one dent on the other side over there on the passenger side front fender, there's one little ding here. Nothing in the doors, but they could use a good cleanup. A little surface rust right there. And then these things need taken off and redone. But even as old as this truck is, look right there. No rust. It's dirty, but there's no rust. Back here was another story. This was completely rusted, just from riding it on the wet roads and everything. So my neighbor, MacGyver, back there, he was generous enough, but he bought the metal and he welded that thing on there. The guy that sold it to me broke the bed pins, but there was one solid metal bed pin that went across from that side of that black beam that the taillights are attached to this side. That's the pivot for the dump bed itself. Now when he broke that pin, my neighbor had to get his little MacGyver helmet on, and he came up with another workable solution that's just as sturdy. Basically what he did was split the bar in two and put those nuts on with some big washers to allow it to swivel and put it all back together. You can see it's got some pretty heavy duty springs on it. All that rust that's on the frame is just surface rust. None of it's very deep at all, which for it being a 1975 is nothing. See, cab corner, no problem. 3-speed with granny low. This one's kind of cold natured, but once you get her started, she'll run all day long. Thanks for watching.